So here's the thing about struggle. Everyone's in it. From time to time throughout your life, you're not going to avoid it. Everybody is in a state of struggle from time to time. Think about all the people that you know. Somebody's always complaining about something that's going on in their lives. Somebody is always struggling. If somebody wasn't always struggling, we wouldn't have all of these, organizations and team efforts and cooperatives and community funding things if somebody didn't have a need. So, we have to stop and take a look at that. With all of the people that have been coming to me and having sessions with me because of the struggle that they've been in, I had to stop and take a look. There's got to be something to this. Either life is really going down and we're all going down with it, or something must be going on here. There must be a point. As there is a purpose to everything, there must be a purpose to the reason that we're all struggling. And so if we take a look at that, think about it. There are people just walking around, having struggle that you know nothing about. In a state of compassion, in a higher enlightened being state of compassion, it would seem obvious then that we would be kind to each other. When we're in those places where we don't feel in struggle, let's be kind. When we feel like we have something to give, when we feel like we have some happiness and some joy, let's be kind. And when we're in those places of struggle where we just feel grumpy, we want to turn our faces to the world, we just want to get in and get out of that store because we don't want to talk to anybody, we don't want to see anybody, we don't want to encounter anybody, that's maybe not the time that we are the giving person. But if somebody else who's not in that struggle space, can you see how a kind word could make all the difference for a person who's already struggling? The most important thing about struggle, however, hang on, follow all the way to the end because I want you to work down this rabbit hole with me. The first, as we said, is be kind. Understand that people are in struggle that you know nothing about. Number two, struggle brings with it what we call negative emotion. Understand this, there is no such thing as negative emotion. Everything happens for a reason. Emotion happens for a reason. We were not gifted with senses and feelings of emotion for no reason. We have the feelings of emotion because they are a guidance system for us. They're not because we just needed a venting system to spout all of this anger and hatred we were going to come up with. Think about it. Do you want to constantly wear a glove on your hand just in case you accidentally touch something that's hot? Can you imagine how that would dull your experience in the world? To be that fearful that you might get hurt, and so we're just not going to feel it at all? That's not realistic. You're not going to have a very joyful, experienced life. But you don't wear the glove, and you do get burnt sometimes. And the reason you get burnt sometimes is because your sense of touch tells you, ouch, that's hot, and you pull your hand away from that hot surface before it gets worse. Emotions are that same way. They're a tool. It is up to us to learn from that tool, to let those emotions roil into these uncapped, great, broiling, aggressive, crazy states of fits and anger. That's unchecked self-will. That's a person who that is not in the capacity to learn from their emotions at that time. As we grow and as we mature and as we become adults and as we become more enlightened and as we become more intent on growing, we learn to understand those emotions, to ask about those emotions, to get at one with those emotions before we let them just unfurl into this hatred and blame game that we now spew onto other people. So negative emotions are not negative. And as we work down this rabbit hole, the greatest thing that this struggle gives us is this. If you are in a state of struggle, this means that you are no longer in a place that you have already been because you don't know what to do. You're in a new place, you're in a new territory that you have never experienced before, because if you had experienced it before, you would know what to do and you would get your way out of it. The place of struggle is meaning that you are growing. You have expanded beyond anything that you have ever experienced before. And in that new place of things that you have never experienced before, you're also prime and ripe for experiencing other things that you haven't experienced before. Like new experiences, new relationships, new growth in your business, new friendships, new children, new love, new excitement, new joy. The state of struggle is simply you moving beyond yourself.